September 21st, 2015. Good morning, Sudbury. I'm Hal and Mad Dusty. I'll bring you the news and the weather and all the stuff that matters today. Starting with the weather. Today's weather, 50 degrees, feels like 50 degrees. 20 degrees in the afternoon, feeling like 22, and in the evening 15 degrees, with overnight being 10 degrees, and the same for the morning. On to today's news. Paramedics proposal worries Sudbury paramedics. A proposal by the Ontario Firefighters Association will compromise paramedic service and response rates, thusly endangering the public, as Sudbury Paramedics says. Sudbury paramedics will join from across Ontario at a rally on Monday. The Ontario Firefighters Association wants provincial government to let firefighters with 20 hours of training to respond to emergency medical calls. Only 20 hours of training? That would be like playing Russian roulette with the public. While the trend has been to increase the qualifications and skill of paramedics, the fire proposal dramatically reverses that trend from high-caliber medical training to, the low-quality 20-hour first aid responders. The consequence of an increased fire role will likely be serious. The paramedics treat patients in emergency situations where lives are in peril, and the fire proposal amounts to a dramatic reduction in expertise, symptoms relief skills that should only be provided by fully qualified paramedics, not by those who are focused on completely different professions. The fire initiative, which must receive provincial government approval before it goes forward, calls for the fire-medic instructor to undergo 16 hours of training. Upon successful completion of this training, they would train and certify a quarter of the current firefighters through a 20-hour course. Currently, Ontario paramedics are graduates of approved 2-year programs and must pass a Ministry of Health certification. While the province needs to approve changes Fire is looking for, the municipal government that directly delivers the emergency services will also be impacted by additional costs should the changes be made. Governments that implement such measures must answer for this policy when problems occur, and they will occur if you only have 16 hours of training. In entertainment news, despite delays, Sudbury Indie Cinema pushes ahead. The opening of Sudbury's independent cinema may be delayed, but the show goes on for its fall program. Sudbury Indie Cinema was to begin screening films in this new facility this fall, but a federal election, among other setbacks, has delayed the opening until sometime between February and April. Moving forward with renovations to the former gymnasium on College Street, the estimated cost to transform the gymnasium into a 180-seat single-screen theater is pegged at $500,000. A group of volunteers rallied together 2 years ago to establish an independent cinema in the downtown Sudbury after News Rainbow Cinemas was closing its doors. The group has continued to gain momentum, and to date, Sudbury Indie Cinema has sold 400 charter memberships and gained 3,000 Facebook followers. The Sudbury Indie Cinema presented its proposal to the Greater Sudbury Development Corporation earlier this year, encouraged by what it heard, but requiring concrete evidence that the business was viable. The Development Corporation covered the $10,000 cost to hire a company to conduct feasibility studies. The feasibility studies, conducted by a Quebec-based communications MDR, concluded that the concept behind Indie Cinema operating as a not-for-profit enterprise is financially viable and would work in the city of Sudbury based on its size. It also pointed out that Sudbury is under-screened when it comes to the number of theater screens in Sudbury, given the numbers of movies that are being filmed here. I'm Hal and Mad Dusty. That's all the news, weather, and stuff that mattered today. I'll see you tomorrow.